The last image here actually is just someone doing what we showed in the video, which is, phones are now getting enabled with things like NFC chips and codes that allow people to do, there are tests going on right now to check into a hotel, you get a code on your phone, or you have an NFC-enabled chip and you use it to open your door. But more and more, the technology of the phone is going to drive consumer behavior, and it's going to change the way we experience things. Now, in the experience phase, this is a TripAdvisor iPad app, which is fantastic. It's basically an experience which allows you to look around yourself holding the tablet, and it'll put up an image of the ratings and reviews of the places around you. And this is the kind of thing that people are now starting to think about and actually starting to build. Imagine how easy it would be to be in a new city and to hold up a tablet or a phone and get information about places just by holding it up. It knows where you are. The compasses in these devices let the systems know what direction you're facing. So we know where you are, we know which direction you're facing. On Android phones with the accelerometer, we know how fast you're traveling. There's so much we can now do to give people amazing experiences, both advertising experience and just compelling consumer experiences. The sort of beauty of mobile has gone way beyond just pretty images and good advertising experiences. The apps that have been built now, and you saw in the video, we have a translate app that allows you to translate between languages when you're traveling in different countries. You can take pictures of menus now and push a button and it'll translate the menus from other languages into English and vice versa. Maps are now preloaded. 75% of phones sold this year in the United States are going to have GPS. So we're getting away from GPS and location being a niche part of the phone to being a core part of functionality. So when you're building out great experiences for your consumers, think about how you can use apps. What role do they play in your strategy? What can you do with language? What can you do with maps? I put guides here because it's not long before we're going to be going off on our backpacking trip to Southeast Asia. Instead of carrying 6 versions of Lonely Planet, we're just going to have a downloadable version. And even if we're far away from home and don't have a phone connection, we're going to maintain the content on our devices if we want to, or on our tablets. So more and more guidebooks, review books, all sorts of information is going to live with us and it's going to come with us. And that information, for the people creating the information, is easy to amend, easy to update, and easy to change. This is another example of just a robust travel experience. This is the Intercontinental Hotels downloadable concierge. So again, this speaks to this idea of the journey isn't over when you arrive somewhere. Let's keep that engagement with the consumer going when they're there on their mobile phone. If you provide people with downloadable concierge services, Vegas.com actually did the same thing. They extended the sales process through. They didn't just end when people arrived in Vegas. They said, okay, well, once someone arrives, our job isn't over. Let's get them to have let's allow them to buy concert tickets. Let's allow them to experience all sorts of other things. So building a robust experience can extend that entire life cycle of the customer through. And finally, the sharing phase. So you've heard a lot already about social, and you're going to hear more about it in the next hour. But more and more people are using, obviously, Facebook and social networks to share things. And some brands are getting on board and making it easy for people to share. They're making it easy for consumers to upload photos to the Disney. This is an example from Disney, where you could upload your pictures from your latest cruise or your latest trip into the Disney site. There's curation of the content. There's all sorts of stuff. Seeing what friends did and seeing what others did really encourages people to travel. And on mobile phones, it's a really great way to share. So you're going to hear more about it again. But sharing and making it easy to share will drive a bigger pie. It's not just about getting that same groups of users engaged, but it's the best way to get friends and family and people who haven't been on that cruise to go. So if you can figure out how to make social a more core part of your mobile experience, I think you'll be in really, really good shape. And to complete the cycle, this is actually a picture I took a few weeks ago, and this is my real-life example. I was at Blackcomb, and we've been trying to convince friends of ours to come to Blackcomb, and they were in California. So I was on the top of the mountain, took this picture and said, you guys should really consider this. Now, do I think this was the thing that pushed them over the edge? Was it this wonderful photo that really forced them, like, we got to book Blackcomb? No. But this is an example of just how easy it is to capture things on your phone, to share them, and how those experiences can flow onto others and help them decide whether to go somewhere or not go somewhere. So where are we in the whole process? We're still in the early stages. And I think I work across all the different business sectors of Google on mobile. But I think that travel has the most potential, and travel is sort of bimodal. So some travel companies are way out ahead and are building fantastically sophisticated apps and web experiences, and there are a lot who are lagging. So those who are out ahead right now, I think, are getting disproportionate returns. But the best experience starts with building basic mobile assets that work. So whether you're building a mobile website or whether you're building a mobile app, make sure it's a great experience. If you want people to be able to book through it, then give them the ability to, with big fingers, type in their credit card information and make the flow work, make it good for the consumers. The industry is behind the potential in terms of spend. So as I showed you before, we have 20% of hotel queries are coming through mobile devices. And for those who are in that market and who are actively engaged, they're getting disproportionate returns. There's a lot more room right now. People don't realize that there's a huge amount of potential to capture this audience through mobile advertising. And don't think of mobile as just a time to take your desktop strategy and squish it into a small screen. You have to really think about it from the beginning. What kind of experiences do we want to give users? What kind of devices are they on? How do we build something special? And again, you have to test and test and test. And a lot of the examples I've showed so far are the result of different tests. Sometimes an app fails the first time and it gets relaunched with extra functionality and it succeeds the second time. Some of the first mobile web experiences weren't good. Now people are figuring out that if they shrink what they want consumers to do down to 3 or 4 things, people with big fingers on a small screen can actually complete a transaction or finish their research. So we're doing well, but I think we have a little way to go. So the main point is to keep innovating, keep trying. There's a lot of room to go in terms of direct response advertising. I've tried to give you some examples of people who are doing it really well. If you build an app, let people know. If you want to promote a mobile application and you're sending out a monthly flyer or a monthly statement, or if it's my mileage, my airline mileage statement coming in the mail or coming via email, there's a lot of opportunity within your own assets to cross-sell and to really let people know what they can do on mobile. The banks have been actually quite good at this. Bank of America used a lot of its internal owned and operated properties to let people know, hey, we have this thing, a mobile banking app. We have one for iPhone, we have one for Android, we have one for BlackBerry. They used everything they could do internally, including putting it in TV commercials, putting it on ATM screens and in statements to let people know. So I'd encourage you that have a media mix that spans from digital to print to TV to think about where mobile fits in. Putting a QR code on print materials or on statements can be a great way to get people to download an app. So there's so much that can be done here, and I think you just have to keep testing. And we have a team of people, Rob Torres's team and Aaron and George's team can help with all of your questions and can help you try to build the right experience. For those of you who are also thinking about building Android applications who haven't done so, we have a team at Android that helps people build mobile apps. Now, they won't do the coding, but what they do is they look at first drafts of apps and they provide feedback. And they say, with this app, you could use the location API and you could do this. Or you could use a Maps API and you could do this. So please contact your reps, because I think we can help out in terms of testing and innovating on the platform. And I think in terms of those dreaming and sharing phases, I think we're way behind. I think there are a few advertisers that are doing interesting things around the dreaming and sharing stages, but I think the best is yet to come. So those are my comments, but I have one more thing which I'm excited to do. I have the pleasure of presenting TravelCom's inaugural Mobile Marketer of the Year Award, if I can get my slide to switch. Which it's not. Thank you. So we allowed people to submit through the TravelCom website for the past month, and there were submissions from all across the country. And they were evaluated by a panel of judges against 4 criteria: effectiveness, consumer experience, innovation, and integration. And this year's winner demonstrated excellence in all 4 categories, stemming from a core strategy that aimed to enhance the the guest experience, which was they built an iPad app, an iPhone app. They did targeting of consumers by location, they did targeting of consumers by device, and they really created an end-to-end mobile strategy. This company created a great customer experiences and had integrated call center support for mobile. And that integrated call center support into their mobile app resulted in mobile revenue increases of over 1,500% in less than 2 years. So please give a hand to Intercontinental Hotels Group. Our mobile marketer of the year. And with that, I'll wrap up. And thank you very much. Continue innovating and reach out to us if you have any questions. Thanks.